Okay, welcome back to the Workbench Apprentice. Today we need to clean these pieces up. So my intent is to sand the surfaces so that they are nice and clean, and then we'll do the round over around these edges, and it should be ready to go. We can look at hopefully getting these things on today. So we've got this varnish that I want to get rid of, so I'll just do that with a bit of hand sanding. Shouldn't take too long. I've still got a bit to go. Right, and I'll keep going off camera until both pieces are done. So both these pieces have some issues. The first one is this. We have a bit of chip out, but we know how to fix that now, so I'm going to use the old Superglue and sawdust trick to fix that one. That's all that is wrong with that piece. And this piece is not square here, and well, yeah, simply that does bug me a bit, so I'll show you how far out it is. Okay, so if I get my pencil, so that's how far out it is. Hopefully that comes through. So to fix this, I will just square it up on the crosscut sled on the table saw, and that'll make that nice and square. Should probably do the same with the second piece, and that'll keep it all nice and same, which I think will just, you know, keep it looking really good. Okay, so I'll get that set up on the table saw. So my intention is to just sneak up onto my line, just make sure that everything stays square. Okay, so how are we doing? Oh, that is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Right, now I need to measure this distance and put it on here. That's going to be about there. So I've marked that. Now we've got, you see that's not quite straight either. Right, so there we go. Back to the table saw to chop that off. So there we go, trimmed them all up. And they're exact same size. So all that remains is to fill in this corner here with a bit of super glue and sawdust, hopefully. Bit of that that on there. Put some sawdust here. And a bit of accelerator. Quite enough, so a bit more glue. A bit more sawdust. And a bit of glue down the back here too. Keep building it up and stick some more glue on there. Don't particularly want it to run away. Ooh, burns. Ooh, ouch. The glove is burning. Yes, so that was really burning pretty badly. It hasn't burnt through, but it did get quite hot. Might just hit that with a bit more. Right, well, I think that's ready for sanding. So I'll get the sanding block and sandpaper, and we'll see if we can round that over by hand. Okay, it feels quite hard now, so we can see on this side there's a couple of little dents where we didn't quite get enough glue in, so I'll just put a blob or two there. Bit of spray. Yes, I can see that's filled it in, so that's pretty good. And keep going. Right, I'll just turn that over. Can smooth this side and then we'll round it over. That's that rounded over. Now for the other corners. Yeah, that's looking a bit round, more rounded. Okay, so that's that one. Now for the other. So this is just a couple of bits of Remu that I've glued together. I did this a while ago, so all I need to do now is just sand it smooth, which I'll do with the orbital sander. This will be our headlight for the motorbike build. Okay, so we've got the two plate things here. We've got our motorbike lined up, and already I can see a problem. The piece here is not over the center, so it needs to come up about there. Somewhere, and that means that this piece has too much of a gap. So if I just hold that there, grab my pencil, hold that there, that's about center. So we want it to be about there. I shall bring you over and show you. So here we go. So if I line it up where I think it should be, we can see you've got a big gap through there. So I think I need to make a new plate, a new one of these. So I shall do that with the smaller gap. Okay, so the new piece has been made. I actually think it turned out way better than the original, and it fits pretty snugly on there, which is great. So will it fit with the other bits? Let's find out. Right, so how's the fit? So that's that lined up. That's that lined up. And a headlight piece fits in there quite nicely. Excellent. And that seems to be pretty good lining up there too. So I guess we need to know how long to make the strut. Okay, so the center is there. We want to come down down to about, I would say about there. Now what we need to do is chop that off on the saw and actually see if it's long enough to get the second one out of it. Right, so our mark is here, and this is the square end. And the mark comes to 380 millimeters. So if I turn that around, so our mark is there, this end's not square. But we do have, what's that, about 30 mil spare. So if I make that end square, we will be able to get both struts out of this one piece, which is fantastic, because this stuff's not cheap. Okay, so I've put the front assembly together in a dry fit. I'm just going to check it on the frame, on the body of the bike, and make sure everything sort of lines up. There we go, something like that. Right, so before I put the front assembly on, I want to make sure that this side, and you can see here that it's not quite perfect. It's going to be a lot easier to do it now than when all the handles and struts and things are on. So yeah, I want to make this all nice and smooth. And I'm not going to do that with the orbital sander. I'm going to do it with the sanding jig board that we made, because I don't think it'll take very long. And there's just a few other spots that need cleaning up too. So let's get on with that. So I'll just keep sanding until that is smooth. So I'll just keep going like that until it's all done. So what I want to do now is put the seat on. So I will get some drill bits and we'll put a couple of dowels in here just to lock it in, and it'll also help to stop it moving when we put some pressure on here to get the seat sit down. 2 dowel holes about in the middle there somewhere. Just make sure it's straight. Another one about there. Please leave a comment to say whether you think this is a necessary thing to do or not. I'd really like to know. I think it's, personally I think it's a good idea. You don't want the kid that's going to use this thing to break stuff, so I think it could be a good idea. Better safe than sorry, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. So I have my little dowel marker pin things that slot into there. Right, line the seat up so that it's pretty much in the middle. I would say about there, and give it a thump. and that puts two holes, two little dimples there, and that's where we drill to get the holes to line up. Okay, last thing I want to do is drill a hole right through to the top of the seat. So if I mark where, so that's there, that would be the thickness of the seat. So I want to come in a little bit before that. Some magic tape, so about there, so probably want no more than about there, I would say. So yeah, it's not much, but it does give it a little bit of a hold. So let's use those holes. So yes, not very deep, but yeah, let me know if you think it's worth it. Just want to make sure that the hole that we have made in the body of the thing is deep enough. So that's how deep that is, which is 36 mil. So let's go back over to the body and see if it'll fit. So that's great. And the seat will just like that. So I think we can glue that up now. Just a little bit of glue in there, and something down the middle. Oh, and I'll put a little bit of glue on here. First one in there. Second one in there. Okay, so there we go, that's the seat clamped on. Let's make sure it's all flush, which it is. That can sit there. Okay, got all that assembled, so let's there, like so. Actually, I think we might need a bit more out of this piece here, just so it sits a little lower, because it's not quite center, and yeah, I'd like it just to sit just a little bit lower. Okay, so set that up. Right, let's see how we go. Okay, let us see how that fits. There we go, that's much better. Right, so we need to put it together and dry fit it again. Just check the alignment. So what I'm trying to do is to get this to sit on right flush here, so it's nice and flat. It seems to be. And then to have the wooden struts dowel to be lined up with the centre of the front wheel. Right, with just a very slight adjustment, seems to be in a place that I can be happy with. So I think we'll go from there. So our next job, I think, will be to put some dowels in to help lock this into place. Right, so I want to put a dowel in about there just to help hold this in place. So if we take that off, we want to put it right in the middle there. So somewhere like that. Make sure it's pretty straight. And then with the 8mm drill bit, again, want to make sure it's pretty square on. Plenty of room for the dowel there. Right, and we'll get our marker and put that in there. So we put that in there. Get our doesn't need to be quite that high up. Want that to be about there somewhere. The mallet won't fit. And I don't know if you can see it, but there is a little dimple there that we're going to drill. That's not going to go through. Right, so there we go. That wee tag is sweeping the thing clean, so we are deep enough. Doesn't need to be much, just a tiny bit. But it's going to be enough to just help seat that in place. Right, so we can dry fit that and then we can work out where we're going to put the other one. Yes, so if this is where we want the top to be, which it is, because that there fits in there quite nicely. We're going to use a dowel. Okay, so we put our dowel in there. this on top. It's got a big tap. That's that. And then we just check that everything is aligned. On camera it looks a bit off, but that's just the camera angle. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's time to glue these things on. Okay, but first things first, let's put a wee bit of glue on here. And pop that in there. Now what I want to do is move these out of the way a bit. And just put a bit of glue just in there, just to hold them in place. And then put just a little bit of glue also up here. Right, let's see how that goes. Right, should get the cloth, a bit of a clean up. Well, there we go. I think that is on. Okay, so the next job I want to do is make the spacer that goes from the middle to the end of the edge of the strut. So, got my so that is 43 millimeters. Just write that down. And we'll do the other side. The other side is 36. Okay, so I have a square end there. What I need is 43. Let's be a bit more generous. No, 40, yeah, 45. Let's go 45. From the end is there. And we have our 40 mil, so we need to make 20 mil from there. Which gives us our center for our hole. So another 20 mil. That'll give us the outside of our hole, so our bit's going to go there, and then that says 36, so we want to go, say 38. And that'll mark that off. Right, so what we need to do, I think, is I'll actually cut this off so it's just a bit easier to use on the drill press. And then we'll drill a hole smack bang in the middle, which will give us our two pieces to sit on our strut. Okay, what I need to do is make up a jig to hold this piece so it doesn't move. So nice and simple. I'm just going to draw a line so I know that in the centre of that line is where I've got to drill some holes. Right, I don't have screws that are quite long enough, so I'm going to solve that problem by just countersinking these holes a bit so that the head of the screw will go into them. Here we go. It's going to go that way around. Now we have something to hold this piece. We can clamp there, and it's long enough that we can clamp down onto the right place to drill it in the middle. So let's get that set up on the drill press. Right, now to see if this really works. So going to drill the pilot hole through the dowel, just like that. Yeah, now I need to swap to a bigger drill bit. I need to swap to the 7mm drill bit. Now we've got to line it all up again. So it's going to be about there, I think. Okay, I think we're about ready, so let's give this a whirl. Oh, I think that might be enough. Let's have a look. Yes, that's close enough. Okay. Not bad. Right. Let's go over to the workbench and have a close look. So here we go. Well, I think with a bit of cleaning up, they will be fine. Okay, so let's just give this a bit of a clean up. There we go. So I'll show you how they're going to work. So the idea is that they will slide up and sit like that. This one's actually for the other side. And this one needs a little bit trimmed off, which is good because It's better to be too long than too short. So what I've done is I've just marked, just kissed the edges so I know how far to bring that piece up. It also means that I know I need to put glue just around here, and that will hopefully will minimize the squeeze out. So I'm just going to go and do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll come back and we'll glue these things on. Okay, so what I've done is I've also added a piece of tape here that just tells me how high up on the strut it is. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on my finger. And on there. And then we'll put some on here. And then we'll slide the piece up. To there. And then we'll go and do the other side. Because I don't have a clamp that is actually deep enough to reach these 2 points. They are quite a snug fit, so I think we'll get away with not having that. So that is the ideal place to leave this video. So I'd like to say thanks for watching, and do remember to do the subscribe and the like button. Much appreciated. Really trying to grow this channel. So yeah, next time we'll be working on the rocker base. So join us next week and next time for that episode on the Workbench Apprentice.